guys, Christine here, and it is February, which means it is time for another Side Street Design Studio monthly challenge. This month we have some prompts that I have pulled, and the main prompts are to use 2 stencils, use 2 stamps, use a dilutions journal, use splatters, and black. Alternate prompts that you don't have to use, but you can swap out some of the other ones, or you can add metallic splatters and add torn ephemera. Now, don't feel that just because you don't have a dilutions journal you can't do this. You can go ahead and use any journal you have, or even just regular paper. When I made these prompts, again, they would help me kind of use up things in my studio I haven't been touching, so that's why I called out a dilutions journal. So for this month, I kind of have an idea of where I want to go. It's February. I want something kind of soft and pink and Valentine's-ish, or more vintage feeling. So what I did was I got out my black dilutions journal, and this is the square journal, and these pages are it's the 8x8 journal. So already by using this journal, I'm using prompt 5 and prompt 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some torn ephemera. But for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of scrapbook paper that I have that I need to use up. So just while I'm creating the background, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. You'll see me tear up the paper, try to figure out where I'm going to put it. I'm going to use my Distress Collage medium to put it down. I may add some paint just to get the background built up. I'll get it dried good, and then I'll come back and tell you guys what I'm going to do next. Okay guys, I got the background done, and at first I was just going to start scraping paint, but I kind of like having the black. This is getting to feel almost like a scrapbook page to me, just building up vintage layers. So I'm not going to go ahead and just scrape on paint. I'm going to bring in my stencils, and the 2 stencils I chose to use for the prompts are Tim Holtz layering stencils in Floral and Bubble. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab some green and pink and just start working and trying to tie more of this together. This is still just a tiny bit damp, so I'm going to dry it some more, and then you'll see me play with those. Alright guys, now I'm fairly happy with the background. It's not my usual, but I'm working with it, I'm going with it. Something I want to try now, I've never tried before, because this is still a bit bright for me, for that vintage look. I got some Distress Collage Medium, the vintage, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that on and see what it does. I've never used this before, so this could be good or bad. We'll have to kind of see how it ends up looking. Because these white ends, I kind of really would like them to be a little bit more toned down so it's not so bright. So I'm just going to run this over the whole page and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with how that's coming out. I'm going to go ahead and try to grab my sepia now. And the prompt says to add 2 stamps. So the first one I'm going to try to use is the Tim Holtz Ledger script. Just adding some more script to the background. I don't know, I think my sepia might be dried up and I may have to get out my Distress Oxides, but we will see. I don't think. There we go. Yep, it's still working. So I'm just going to add a little bit of copy. Almost as if there's like some handwritten notes in here. Just like that. Just very gently. Just want a little hint. Don't need a ton of them. There we go. So that's one stamp for the prompt. And then the other stamp, I'm still debating what I want to use. I have her and I really want to use this one. This is the Tim Holtz Classics number 5. I kind of like this eye. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use that. Get my block. Just put that right there. So you can barely see, it's very delicate. Maybe do a hint of a mouth down below. It's a little hint of a voice. There we go. I know they look like more like brown blocks. So far, let me grab our prompt card. We have used 2 stencils. We used the floral and the dots, used 2 stamps. I used the text and the face images, Dilutions Journal in black, Torn Ephemera, and then add splatters and metallic splatters. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and add my splatters. And what I want to add is a hint of copper. So I'm just making some room. And to do that, I'm going to use The Ancient by Dina Wakley. I'm going to get some of this on here. And we'll get some good splatter going before I finish up with my little bits on there. Alright, I've got my distress sprayer. I'm going to wet this down and we'll see how metallic does splattering. I didn't think about that when I move our prompt card. I didn't think that metallic might not splatter. I could have used my shimmer sprays. I do have some Tim Holtz sprays, so that's always an option. If you just have gold paint, you can splatter with that. We're getting some good splatters here. I'm really liking how this is looking. It's different because normally when I work in my Dilutions journal, I think, oh, it's my Dilutions journal, I have to use Dilution stamps, I have to use Dilutions bits, but nope, it was just a nice black background. And now this is feeling a little more Tim Holtz-esque, which is fine, they're all in the Ranger family. Alright, I love that. I'm going to let this dry good, and then I will be right back with you guys to finish this up. Okay guys, so I am back, and I have this photo that is a scan of a cabinet card I found of a young girl that I want to add to this. I'm going to go ahead and do the edges in Vintage Photo. I did run some of my Vintage Medium over the top of it to try and age it because the paper was very fresh off the printer, and it may have messed it up a little. I don't have one of those printers that necessarily protects the paper, so I'm just trying to take the Vintage Photo and give it some aged effect so it blends into our background better. But I do want her to sit over here, and I'm going to use, for those who watched me, I know this is a shock, sticky foam dots. Because I have my love of sticky foam dots. I'm going to use those to attach her. We'll put a nice big one in the center to kind of make sure it holds down. And I'll put a few smaller ones around the side. And I really need to clean my fingers off because I'm getting paint everywhere, but that's all the fun of journaling. So we're almost there with this, guys. Okay, I want her to stand off, so I'm going to take the dots off. Now what I feel is that this page kind of like speaks to me, like it's her story. There we go. Her own little scrapbook of her world. So we're going to put that there. And I did get a Tim Holtz quote out that says, "Collect beautiful moments." I'm going to add that too with some glossy accents, and I'm just taking my Distress Oxide and Vintage Photo because I don't have the archival Vintage Photo. And I'm going to get that added on as well. I want it to be right across there. So I actually may end up using dots for that as well, so it stays, although maybe a bit too tall now. We will see. My journal's just going to get bigger and bigger. That's all there is to it. So I like that. Like that. Okay. And now what I have to go on the other side is I have some fun ephemera bits from one of my little collections that I thought would be cute to kind of just do a little kind of time collage. Like maybe these are some of her memories. Just like that. And for those, I'm trying to decide, I think I'm going to use the foam dots as well because they are a little transparent. So it'll be cool to see as the light hits them what they sort of do. Because you'll be able to see a little bit of the paper through it. So I'm going to start with the clock and time. And these are great too for like these transparent ephemera by Tim Holtz, for if you have something with like a light window. And you can put a light behind it. So we're going to put that right there. And then this guy, I want to just sit below. And I could come back and maybe do more border with a flower like onto her photo a bit, but I figured for now this is This little assemblage is exactly what I was looking for. So I'm just going to put a dot. I think this one's backwards. There we go. Just going to put a dot under here. And I'm going to use a little bit of glossy accent once I have it set where I want it to kind of get that piece to stay near the clock. There we go. Let that set. And then for this is kind of a cute, it looks like a little date photo. I just want that to go right there. With that, I think I'm gonna call this one done, guys. It's very different from what I'm used to doing. I'm not used to leaving white space, but in this case it was dark space. I like the kind of overall assemblage. And just to double check our monthly prompts, we used 2 stencils with the circle and the flowers, 2 stamps with the face stamps and the quote stamp, Dilutions Journal, splatter with metallic, torn ephemera, and black. So there we go, all the prompts done. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I forgot to mention in the beginning that there is a Facebook group. I will put the link below. Each month, the second Saturday of the month, I release the prompts and then we share our art. We'd love to have you join us. So go ahead and if you want, check out that link below and join the Facebook group. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you next month for next month's challenge.